All right, we're back. Episode 6, Game 2 review with maybe a little spicy.
Episode 6, nothing.
Oh, look at that. We should title it
Wow.
that. Episode 6, nothing. That's fucking funny. How was the game?
It was good. It was good. I wouldn't say the crowd was any better or any worse. I think it was the same. They were standing right from the hop. Yeah, it was good. Obviously left a little bit better taste in everybody's mouth and everybody loves to run up the fucking score a little bit. I think you could, with every little goal, you could just feel a little of the nervous energy leave and the fucking like, fuck you energy come in. And it was great. End of the second, third period. There was, nobody had a care in the world. It was great. That little weak little shitter goal, that was kind of like, okay, it's going our way tonight. Like,
and that weak little shitter goal, I'm sure we'll get to it, but like, there was so much build up to that. Because it was Dursey that batted it in his own net, and Dursey was such a. I don't know if you could pick. Like I watched it on TV, so like you get.
Oh, it was the same. Oh yeah, like it seemed like Dursey was in every scrum again,
big time. But like the biggest thing was when McDavid took that boarding penalty.
Yeah, Dursey
and then Dursey got in with Nurse there.
Yeah,
when they were in the box, it was like they wouldn't stop cutting to it. Dursey was just going off, like just like going at Nurse the whole time, and McDavid's just sitting there like just ignoring him, like looked locked in. But probably like for 2 minutes of the commentary, they just kept cutting back to Dursey and like more Dursey just going like motor mouth.
He's a little shithead.
Absolutely,
I told you before the first game. I said I've seen a couple Kings games this year. I've watched them when they were in LA, and Dursey is just fucking stirs it up. He's just in the middle of everything, and he never stops. Man.
I thought it was going to be Lemieux.
Give it up.
But it's this Dursey kid, which was so sweet to see him bat that puck in his own net. Like once I recognized that that's what had happened. Yeah. Oh,
and it was Kane on him too. Like,
and he just laughed in his face.
That was precious.
On that boarding call, because this is going into the first period.
I want to talk about this boarding call. Let's get into it.
So going into the first period, what it seemed like to me was like we came out strong. That nervous energy kind of dissipated quite early, and we were just kind of picking up momentum, getting better and better than that call. Then we were picking up energy, getting better than that other. What was the second call? And we took another penalty, and it kind of had good penalty kills. It's not like we lost a ton of momentum, but then it was building into like the end of the first. So, you know, like people might say, it was just domination in the second and third. I thought we were playing really well the whole game. It just kind of kept our momentum kept getting derailed by those penalty calls. And then when we got that power play to start the second, like it was all downhill from there. But
I think that power play of ours, I texted you, I said the Smith dive is the TSN turning point because then they get the power play, they score. And then from there on, they got another call. Actually, their second goal was shorthanded like 4 minutes later.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, Mike Smith was my most fucking hated goaltender.
That's so funny. I said that exact same thing.
Because he did that all the time.
That's hilarious.
And now he's on my team. And that play was right in front of me. So like I can see his stick fly. I couldn't believe the helmet didn't come off. Like I was expecting the helmet off, like hair out. But I hated him for so long because of that play. And now
I love it.
Now I fucking love it. He's on your team.
Yeah.
Why not? Like why not take a little flop, get your team on the power play, and that. I'm not saying LA really had momentum. I didn't really ever feel like they did, but that let Edmonton really take the momentum, and they scored on the power play. And then I think it was all but over after that. And that was the Mike Smitty dive.
It was huge. Yeah, it was huge. And that's unreal. So funny because as soon as I saw that dive, I'm like, I turned to who I was watching the game with there, and I just said like, I used to hate this guy so much. Like there was no goal in the league I hated more than Mike Smith for that exact reason right there. And I fucking love it. Like me and you had the exact same thought process on that. So going back to that boarding call, it was a physical game all around for the Oilers.
What did you think of the boarding call? I thought it was boarding. But then I thought the two cross checks up high on McDavid. How do you not call that retaliatory? So I just want to talk I want to talk a little bit about this boarding call and a problem I see in the league right now. Because last night I watched quite a bit more playoff hockey at home.
Me too. I watched.
And even just watching in the Oilers games, there seems to be a lot of like really borderline close like hits in the back where guys are kind of getting their face mushed in. That hit on McDavid. And I think it's all, I've been saying this for years since they kind of have been getting strict about it. It's all the rule change and everything they've made about these checking from behind and hitting a vulnerable player. And it's taken all the onus off of people with the puck, because the way the rule is written, all you have to do essentially, not working in the playoffs, is turn your face to the boards, show the player your back, and that's your defense. That is how you stop from being hit. Whereas nobody braces for the hit, gets tight against the boards like you're kind of trained in Pee Wee hockey. Yeah. Everybody thinks, oh, I see him coming. I turn my back. He can't hit me. Then I can decide which way I want to go. And now in the playoffs, when all these guys are going mock chicken in there to
finishing every hit,
finish every hit, when you're turning last second,
you're going to have those McDavids.
Oh man, guys, there's going to be plays where guys can't stop. Guys are going to try and hold up and hit you. And McDavid, I thought that play was a prime example of that. I thought whoever he hit, was it Dursey he hit or no?
It wasn't. It was
44.
Yeah.
He can see McDavid coming from the hash marks.
Yeah.
And right at the last minute, he tries to spin, turn his back, head the other way, and McDavid is coming in so hot he can't stop. You bury him anyways, and then you just put yourself in dangerous situations. And I think all the onus has been taken off of people to actually properly protect themselves, and everything is on the player to not hit a guy in the back.
Right.
I don't want guys getting run in the back either, but it seems to me that that's a way a lot of D-men and guys are trying to protect themselves, is just turn your back, and then the guy can't hit you.
And I think we've been seeing a ton of that. I think the one example that isn't that so far has been that Clifford hit that he got the 5 minute for. And
that's one I still haven't seen.
It was no turn at all. His back was to him. Like he tosses the puck up the plate. He's coming in behind him and then crushes him from behind.
Okay.
There's some
that are cut and dry.
It was bad, right? Yeah. It was like, you don't need to throw that hit. That was greasy. He was so like, it's the definition of a vulnerable player, because you can see the way his head snaps. Like there was just no way he thought he was going to take a hit. It was that right, maybe just within the buffer zone of playoffs, that extra second after you toss away the puck, you still have to keep brace. It was a dirty one. All the other ones I think I've seen so far playoffs, I agree with you. It's guys turning, it's motion.
Guys turning, and they still are ready, and they kind of go flat up against the boards.
Yeah.
Like they turn and get hit flat because they are still bracing themselves a bit, but they're just so conditioned to turn their back and they can't get hit. Now in the playoffs, there's like even Dursey got hit once. I don't remember who it was exactly, but it was Cass or McLeod or someone. And Dursey kind of, you could see his head crunched a little bit, and he's like, "Oh,
there's a couple good ones." And I think it's because they called that one on McDavid. Oh, another little. I want to talk more on that McDavid little scrum after, but I don't know if you noticed this, but a couple shifts, I think maybe after that, it was after we scored. I think it was in between the first and second goal for the Oilers in the second period. Cassian drives to the net and does the greasiest little knee muck to Quick's head in between his knee and the post.
Kind of snow showered him a little bit?
Not even a snow shower, just like the way he stopped. He like kind of didn't knee him, but like just grabbed his head with his knee and squished it between the post and his knee. It was so good.
That live, I thought he just... Because Quick looked pissed off after that. And from the angle I was at, I thought it was a little bit of a snow shower. Oh, but you're saying he caught him with the knee too.
For sure. And like wasn't like a concussive knee, like the contact. It was almost like grabbing him with his knee and squishing it against the thing, which was perfect. Like wasn't hard enough. You couldn't call it, but annoying enough. Like that probably sucked and like was annoying and like got him off his, I loved that little move. I would have hated it if you got the call, but going back.
Because Quick went right to the ref, like was bitching. I'm like, why is he so fucking mad about a snow shower? Like,
it was a good little knee head muck. I liked it.
Good.
So going back, McDavid makes that hit, sees the arm go up, and immediately was like, come on. Like you can tell his body, like, that's bullshit. Come on, this is the playoffs. You're going to call me for that. Like of what we've seen, right? He stands up, he takes a hard cross check up high, like on the top of the shoulder, very reminiscent of what Matthews did to that demon on Buffalo.
I think it was Nurse that came in hot from
as soon as he threw one, everyone's coming in. Now they're mad, and he throws another one as the scrum's coming together. Yeah. But I think it was the first one was so up high. It was like right on the top of the shoulder pad that like it's so easy to do that Matthews where it slipped off of that Deline or whatever on Buffalo and gets him in the jaw. Like just a dangerous play on a retaliation in the playoffs. So, but they don't call it. Now he's the one that causes the scrum because you cross-check McDavid high twice. The team has to react. It causes that scrum, and now you grab both our best D-man and that shitty Dursey, and you take them. So now, not only is it a borderline call on the boarding, I think it was a penalty.
Probably boarding,
yeah, probably boarding. I'm not going to go nuts on that, but then you could have evened it up with the retaliation, but you chose not to. Okay, now you take Nurse and him. Like I just thought that was a poor. Not like poor calls, like the calls itself, but like
poor management of the situation.
Exactly. Game management. I thought that was dumb, right? I didn't really appreciate that. But what I thought was interesting was, again, this is one of those things you see on TV and you wouldn't see at the game. They, when they're cutting I think it was maybe the last commercial break before the end of the period or right at the end of the period. They cut to McDavid on the bench and he like, you can read his lips. He said, "Hey, fuck, sorry, that was on me." And I couldn't tell if it was, the pass across, cause he tried to do a nice feed 2-on-1 that I think it was Hyman maybe or something for whatever reason missed. But I was thinking maybe he was talking to the ref. And then later in the broadcast, they said, yeah, he was talking to the ref and said like, no, that boarding, I resaw it. Sorry, that's on me.
Yeah.
And then the reffing, I think, got a little bit better. And I must say, not that the reffing's been spectacular
I
these two
thought
games.
the reffing was bad both ways. I thought that Colin Smith, like, man, that was such a fucking.
But I'll take that. I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, compared to what we've seen for reffing all year, I'm hallelujah. I'll take
Yeah,
this
it's not bad.
degree of shit compared to the shit we've seen. Like, at least it's somewhat even. If it's gonna be bad both ways, let's be bad both ways, not just absolutely screwing us over like 9 games out of 10. I'm so happy about that. And then I can't remember what the other penalty we took was, but it was again not killed it well or penalty kill.
No, it was that Duncan Keith cross check.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was another one. So cross checks him hard.
Very.
Doesn't call it. Arm doesn't go up. Gives him a second cross check, less hard when he's on the ground.
Yeah.
Calls it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
He must have seen the arm go up because then he starts just giving him more and more and more.
Yeah.
Which
He's like, fuck you. That's Duncan Keith though, man.
Yeah.
He is. I bet you he's second all time in block shots. I bet you he's first all time in combined slashes and cross checks. That guy throws more lumber than anyone on the ice. I fucking love it.
So,
but law of averages, you might get called for one or two.
Yeah.
If you just take it over that line. Because he does, like I said, he slashes cross checks more than anyone I've seen, but he's like, he rides that line.
yeah,
Where
and he's a
like,
smaller guy, so it doesn't look like he's.
like there's
if Draisaitl goes out and does that to Durzi,
there's
it's gonna
no
look,
like blatant, huge two-handers. It's just quick little whacks and quick little cross checks in the soft spot and the tender spots and the spots that really like make you grimace, but it's not like, whoa, that guy just broke his stick over that guy's arm. That's a cross check.
Like the cross check Corey Perry took around the net by. Oh, who gave him one? Like a really good one right on that spot on the arm, and you could tell it hurt him bad. Like he was even on the bench was hurt. Oh, did you also see? Speaking of Durzi, did you see the video I sent you of the slash Draisaitl game after he scored in the first game?
No.
Oh, I sent it to you on Instagram. It's just like it doesn't show any of the goal or the celebration. It's just the slash. But like, just imagine he just scores that third goal, ties it up, and before he goes for just this morning. Before he goes to Selly, gives him a huge hack on the back of the leg.
Fucking right.
I love that.
They're just like, hey, don't do that. And then he chirps him on his way to the bench.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Love it.
Yeah.
You love to see it. And just, pretty much after that first period, the couple penalty calls, it gets to that point of total domination. And I thought maybe this might be a bit early to get into it. We could do more of the game, but like, I have a kind of a list here on my page of I thought there was a number of Oilers where it was their best game of the season.
Well, that was in my notes as well. I thought there was not necessarily your exact point, but I thought there was nobody on the team that didn't serve some sort of purpose.
Everybody had a great game, but I thought
everybody impacted the game from top to bottom. I think all three defensive pairs, like Barry and Kulak, were good. Keith and Bouchard have been our best pair. Archie, Cassian were hitting.
You're naming a lot on my list here.
Fogel had a couple big hits. He had that chance, almost scored on the first. I think it was
He had a couple good chances.
Either him or Cassian had a big hit, and then he took it back the other way.
Yeah,
kind of a shot off quick, just kind of caught it. That was a good chance. Fogel. Ryan doesn't necessarily do anything flashy, but he kills. He takes some draws.
Yeah,
he's noticeable out there. He's in the battle. So I don't think there was any player that was just along for the ride. Like they all played a purpose.
Yeah. That was in the first period. Cassian laid a huge hit on Quentin Byfield, who was trying to get the puck out. He you could tell froze up, like saw Cassian coming in the tracks, made a bad pass. It was kind of a shitty dump. And that's when Fogel got it back. It kind of dumped back to a D-man, nice pass up to Fogel, and you got that real nice shot off the rush.
Yeah.
That was like a big momentum changer towards the end of the first that really grabbed it for us. And I thought that was, nice hit. And to start to see the hitting paying off, because that's what everyone loves the big hits where you put a guy on their ass, but what you want more than anything is for the guys to start freezing up like that when they know the hit's coming and make a bad play.
With Cassian, me and C Buddy during the game, like, and you off because he does so much of it off camera that you can like when he's out there, you can almost see him like circling. So me and C Buddy started doing the Because he's just kind of like circling up by the blue line. And there's one, I don't know if it was Byfield or one of the centermen getting a breako pass right in between the hash marks, almost in their own end. And Cassian came from center ice and just missed him. Like he's circling. He's always
I think that was the Quentin Byfield one where because it wasn't a huge hit. They Quentin looks up and jumps out of the way, but that's what made him make the bad pass. Like he Fogle such a nice
he just wheels around and you could tell that's all he's looking for. And that's a tough guy to play against because you always got to be head on a swivel.
So the guys I had on my list where I thought it was their game of the season, I thought Cassian, who played great in game one, like these are definitely the two best games, but I thought that was his best game he had. Bouchard, I thought that was the best we've seen of him, and I think that's
Bouchard's best game.
Bouchard's best game. Look at that. Huge minutes too. Played 22 minutes.
Played more than Nurse. Out of the two games, he's averaged more than Nurse right now.
Yeah,
he's their second time on ice to McDavid,
and he's playing better too.
Yeah,
he had the real nice shot that was tipped by McLeod. He had another laser off the crossbar.
Yeah.
He had that real nice pinch in for the come across shot, like not a 2-on-1, but just kind of got lost on the other side and just barely missed a tap in backside. Like
for
defensive.
One thing I'll say about Bouchard, like you look at his face, you look at the way he plays. Mm-hmm. If you were just to had a camera locked on his face for the whole game, you wouldn't know if it was preseason, if it was playoffs, if he just made a mistake, if he just scored a goal,
if he has a mental issue.
Honestly, like he just kind of always has that blank look on his face, but he's so composed. Like you wouldn't believe he's that young either. Like he's so composed. Nothing seems to bother him. And I think that's a really good sign that he's playing like this and in that kind of environment.
The look on his face all the time. And I love Bouge.
He gives me Eberle-esque vibes. There's kind of a lazy eye in there, something going on. I don't know.
The look I always get from him is like the look of it's not fear because he wouldn't care, but like a jock in a class that is just there to play football and gets called on to answer a question and like is not like scared because it doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of like, oh fuck, I don't know, you know, like that's his face at all times while he's playing. That's the vibe I get. Yeah. But then he just does wild shit.
Yeah,
like
3 assists, three assists in that game.
3 assists, most minutes, best defensive player to like. I don't know. Not that he's known for
him and Keith.
Him and Keith had
unreal, unreal little pairing there.
I really like it.
Yeah,
I really like it. And then who else did I have on my list? Archie, again, very small sample size, but I thought that was his best game. What did you think of that change before the game? Because we haven't really chatted about it. What did you think about him? And I know it's hard once you've seen him play to think about what you were thinking before. Did you like that change? Were you rather they would have kept the?
I don't know. I think I'm a little indifferent to it. I think I heard Woodcroft talking about it, and he says they're like, "Oh, what did you not see in game one to go away from the 11-7?" He's like, "Oh, it's not really about anything I didn't see. It's just that I think we're capable of playing both ways. I'm confident in 12-6. I'm confident in 11-7." And he said it's a good little wrinkle to have because it makes us hard to prepare for.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of that is really true? It's Archibald or Chris Russell. Do you think either of those two guys are really making it into the other team's game plans? Maybe, maybe not. But I think regardless, like he said, like Woodcroft said, like I'm going to say, I think I'm confident in either way. I think Archibald has showed he can serve a purpose. And did you see he got the exemption to travel?
Yeah, I did.
So he'll be in LA. And I think maybe that has something to do with it.
Maybe
Woodcroft is more likely to try and get him in the lineup when he knows, okay, I have him every night now. I'm not just going to be able to play him at home.
Right. And I think it's tough to really nail down the impact he made because he played really well and did kind of what he was meant to do out there. But it almost was like, is it Archibald or is it what putting Archibald in the lineup signified for how they were going to play? McDavid hitting, everyone hitting, right? Like, I think there was one, and it's hard to get a registered hit in the NHL, right? Like you really got to throw something. And I think Kulak was the only guy that didn't have a registered hit on the team. Whoa. Right? Like that's big. And most guys had 2, 3, 4, right? Upwards of 6 if you're looking at like the Cassians of the world. And I thought that was big. And I don't know how much of that is just the game plan they knew they're going to come in with, how much of that is putting Archie in, like the you know, it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing, right? Like, are they hitting more because you got guys like Archie in the lineup, or is a guy like Archie in the lineup because they're going to hit more? Yeah. But either way, you love to see it, especially at home.
The one thing about the hitting that I thought was, they hit in game 1 too. But what I thought in game 2 was they didn't really it didn't seem anyway like they were really going out of their way to make hits. Like I thought
they were just playing so hard that they were there to make the hits.
They were chasing a reaction from the crowd. All they wanted, it was a big eruption. But in game 2, they let the hits come to them. They kind of played their game and they didn't go out of their way. So it's the same. You're still laying hits on guys, but you're not Darnell Nurse all the way on CC's side of the ice trying to make a play. You're kind of playing more.
They settled in more.
Yeah.
And I think the momentum and like the pace that they were able to put on them lends itself way more to that high flying. Like every time they're either coming in with possession or they're dumping in and they're right on their horse and they're right there to make a hit. Like, and I think also some of the,
sorry to interrupt. I noticed, I mentioned to the people I was sitting with, Cassian did that on one play where he was along the boards, chipped it into the corner, and instead of taking a direct line to the puck,
the back of the net?
No, he kind of cut across in behind Dursey, who was, so he had the straight line to the puck. Dursey was coming from the right side D. Cassian almost cut across the top of the circle, cut right in behind Dursey, and then was right behind him. And Dursey's like, oh, fuck.
Just hear the train tracks.
Rode him in and
Cassian's probably saying crazy shit too out there. Like, I'm sure he's a mutant. Like,
just hear him heavy breathing.
Yeah. Or like, I'm coming for you. I bet you he is wild.
Like, even just a little heads up. Like,
exactly.
Like, oh, fuck.
I do not think he is silent out there when he's doing shit like that. I think he could, the reason I think this is like, you can't hear it when you're watching the game, but just the way guys react to him on the ice and like in scrums, like he just says crazy shit. Oh, and then another thing at the end of the game when who was chirping at Cassian wanting to fight him?
It was Lemieux.
It was Lemieux.
Lemieux was kind of circling around their net right at the end when they held it behind the net for like 30 seconds there. Lemieux kind of came. He was in the box and he came out of the box until he kind of had to cut a few choppy strides into their zone and wanted a piece of someone. But the others like, dude, get the fuck out.
We're up fucking 6-rip. Yeah, and that was so funny. So he's chirping all the way back to the bench, sits down on the bench, and then and Cassian yells back to him, First shift. Let's go to next game. First shift. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm just not fighting you in a 6 fucking rip. And what I loved about that is Lemieux's probably going to be shaking in his boots all the 2 nights before the next game.
Fuck, thinking, I have to fight Cassian.
I do not want to fight this fucking mutant. Nobody. And it's not that. It's just craziness. It's like there's scarier guys in the league to have to fight, but like there's tougher guys in the league to have to fight than Cassian. But the crazy factor is not someone you want to be on the wrong side of.
The Oilers kind of have one of those guys on every line. Like the top line, they have Kane.
Yeah.
You don't want to fucking
You definitely don't.
The second line, I would say kind of Draisaitl. Like, he's a fucking prick. You don't want to be, you're going to act. You don't want Yamo to be mad at you. He'll bite your ankles. And then the third line, you have either Archie or probably just the way Archie plays. You got to keep your head up. But Fogle.
Fogel's a bit of a mutant.
Fuck with Fogle. He's not quite as he doesn't strike me as quite of a loose cannon as Kane or Cassian. And then the fourth line, you have Cassian.
Right.
So there's kind of a guy on every line that like you need to be aware of.
I like that.
Maybe not so much Draisaitl, but I would pick him. You don't want to piss him off.
Yeah.
He's tough. You can't really hit him. You can't body him. So I think there's kind of a guy on every line that you
and then you got kind of Nurse on the back end that's also in that same way
Keith,
where
like
Keith, I don't know. I don't think guys are that scared of Keith. Just he is you don't want to piss him off because you're going to get your ankles hacked off for the rest of the series, right? You don't want to really be on
piss old Barry off.
Oh fuck, he's pretty soft.
He might take a slapper at your ankles.
But he honestly not. I feel like he has been almost like, I want to say invisible, which is always is a bad thing, but I feel like for him, like, I will take that all the time as long as he's
playing mistake-free hockey.
That's exactly it. And I love that.
And he's kind of anchored. He's still anchoring that power play.
And you know that he's got that offensive spark. Like, we haven't really seen, maybe like it's been more of the Bouchards you notice on like the offensive back end stuff, jumping up the rushes, Nurse with that beautiful shorty. But I think Barry's got it. Barry's gonna come through at some point in the series or some point deep in the playoffs.
He had a nice pass to Dry on that power play goal.
Right.
Like I think
pretty basic pass. I think that was that was Dry. Let's talk about that goal, because I thought that goal was super important. Just the way,
big time, the
way Quick played in game one, and the way we were like, I kind of was talking about it in that other podcast when we reviewed game one of maybe we have to stop doing that, one timer shot. He's just too quick, no pun intended, too far out there. Really cuts off angles well, and we got to start doing one more pass. But it kind of goes against that core identity of what we've been trying to build up for Draisaitl. It wasn't that perfect feed across from McDavid, completely crossing him. It was just a very simple pass from Barry on the point down to him. But the way he shot that puck and fired that under the bar on Quick was just absolutely, like, there's not a goalie in the league that's stopping that shot. And just absolutely, like, what I said in the morning is like, oh, I fucking love that he blew that right through quick. And it's not like it went blowing it through a goalie is something different, but just the way he scored that goal was so significant. I was just like, oh no, you're not going to do that every game. We're going to blow some shit by you because we have shots like this. And just the way that changed the tone was so fucking incredible. Always the first goal of a game is huge.
And then 4 minutes later, the Nurse Shorty. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about special teams, how fucking good they've been. Nothing really in particular, but I'm going to beat my dead horse. I'm going to say it's because they're fucking best player. Look at when Nurse scored that Shorty. Who was on the ice?
McDavid,
Kane, and Nurse.
And McDavid made a huge play in the defensive zone.
They're on a 3-on-2 on a penalty kill. Yeah. Kane is driving the net like it's even strength. McDavid and like Nurse is jumping up. Like you don't have that if it's Derek Ryan Shore out there on the front end. Like I'll say it until the cows come home. Their best players are on their penalty kill. Their power play obviously is their power play, and that's going to dominate. So their special teams have been fucking awesome.
Phenomenal, right? Like, and that was what I really liked was, it really proved your point on that one of not only was it a beautiful feat and like Nurse hopping up in the play like that was beautiful, but wind it all the way back to the defensive zone and the play McDavid made to strip that puck was there's maybe 20 players in the league that strip pucks like that could make that play. And McDavid's one of them. And the fact that he's out there on the penalty kill can play like that. What I brought up the other time was you have to play different around him, but also you're going to have opportunities like that. And then it's absolutely off to the races, and they know they can jump up because he's not going to, not many times is McDavid going to fuck up that pass. And the fact that Nurse was there, pretty nice little tip by the D-man there. We'll take it. We'll take it. But we got none of that in game one.
No.
Right? We had to scrap for every.
Yeah, I think just the hockey gods seem to be a little bit on our side there in game two, especially that little Dursey poke in. That was awesome. And those ones, almost those type of goals, especially in the playoffs, crushing. They almost get the crowd more fucking juiced than because then immediately they haven't even dropped the puck yet, and you got the Jonathan going like there. People just love that shit because it's so easy to get on the other team about it.
Okay, question. Game one, the goalie chants were a little weak. They're a bit disjointed.
They were good.
Did they figure it out game two?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All over
I love me a good goalie chant.
There was a couple good guys right in like the first, second row behind Quick that were
just in his grill.
They bought those seats to fucking
good. We
banging on the glass like being horrendous,
being mutants.
Yeah, they were. There's definitely some people on Quick in that game
doing the Lord's work.
Here's my question. The seat buddy beside me asked me, and I kind of had a good point, but. He said, "Why don't they fucking pull him? Like, get him out of here." And here's my thought on that. I think pulling Jonathan Quick in the playoffs is up to Jonathan Quick
for sure.
I don't think McClellan could pull him.
No.
I think maybe there was what I would expect is maybe a TV timeout. McClellan says, "Quick, you want to stay in?"
Just gives him the look.
Do you want to stay in? And Quick, knowing how he's won 2 cups, 3 out of 2 cups. And the kind of the battler he is. No, you want to stay in the game. You want to keep feeling the puck. You don't want to sit on the bench. Like he wants to keep battling with the boys.
Especially that the fourth goal was that Dursey fucking bumblefuck Kane goal, right?
Yeah.
I think that is, like usually 4-rip, that's when you would like you're gonna make that play. Yeah. Not even that he was playing all that bad or nothing. Just really. That let's save him. Let's just you know what? Doesn't look like it's going our way. Let's just give you the night off. And I think then it would be up to him. And he probably was like, no, fuck, like that didn't go. And then the fifth goal, fuck. And then the 6th goal, shit. Maybe Quick was thinking, maybe I should have, taken an early night here, especially with, just how we kept coming in waves and waves and waves. And who knows, maybe if Quick, like the way they played, it probably sounds silly because it was 6-0, but it easily could have been fucking 9-0. Yeah. He made a lot of good saves. Yeah. Going back to my list of players I thought had the best game of the season, and for this specific example, I think might be the best game of his life, was McLeod.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been screaming all year long is it's unbelievable how he looks. Every game is his best game. I would say once every 2 weeks, he has his new best game ever.
I think since Woodcroft took over.
Yes. But even before, I thought he was kind of getting better and better. Yeah. And it was mostly confidence. But last night, he got that beautiful tip. Like that was just money and like more. So just like you could see the elate, like just the what that goal meant to him was everything. But he was playing awesome hockey too, right?
Yeah,
like, and
he's
he was
coming out of his shell. Well, even if he was in a shell, but I like McLeod a lot.
he is playing some like
Good shit.
confident hockey, making plays in kind of danger zones that you would expect a Draisaitl McDavid to make, like where most guys are just going to pass it off because they're not where, like, if you fuck up, they're like kind of around your own offside dots. You know, I saw him make a couple moves around there where it's, and what was nice, it was, if that's, who am I going to pick for this? If that was like Cassian, maybe make that, but my butthole, Puyarvi, my butthole would have puckered, right? Yeah. But I didn't even get like a little bit of a, ooh, but it's McLeod, and he just silky smooth, pulls it around, no hesitance to make the move,
he's a little bit like Bouchard in that way too, where he almost, he's very calm under pressure. You can't tell by looking at him what kind of situation he's in. He's very calm, cool, collected. Yeah,
love to see it. I thought it was his best game of the year, but also best game ever because he's just so young. Yeah. And then the last guy I had on the list, and this one I had a question mark by because I'm not sure. Do you think that was Fogel's best game of the year?
I think he played some of his best hockey right at the start of the year. Like the home opener against Vancouver, that game against Calgary. I remember thinking right at the start of the year, Foegele, Ryan, Cassian was the Oilers' best line. Like they were a wrecking crew line. But yeah, I would say
it's up there.
Oh man,
it's up there.
And I've been telling you all year, Foegele is a playoff guy because
you were early on
I never fucking watched a Carolina Hurricanes game until playoffs. Yeah. And I remember when he was on the Hurricanes, I noticed Foegele all the fucking time. Him and that Niederreiter on Carolina were they bring it in the playoffs. So I was just kind of waiting until playoffs because he's bigger than you would think too. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a big body.
He is. And when he throws it around,
he moves good. He's I love Foegele. I think he's a...
Speaking of the Hurricanes, did you watch the last game of theirs? Oh, I guess you'd probably be at the game. Probably didn't see it. Did you see on the highlights?
I think I saw highlights.
The Pasternak weird little hit on Ranta that took him out of the game?
No.
It was odd. It was... So, like, Pasternak, I can't remember, something happened around the hash marks, like a puck plate. Nobody around him had a good, solid, like 1 second sounds quick, but in the NHL, like he went from almost the hash marks to the net where he had tons of time to turn. He could have went left around him, could have went right into the corner, but just saw momentum going into the goalie. We're down one. We're kind of getting dummied by these guys.
Carolina's fucking them up.
And goes into him, but he's not really going to make good contact, so he kind of throws his arm out and kind of gives him a little karate chop on the jaw.
Oh.
Wasn't high impact. He had all the time in the world. It was for sure goaltender interference. Yeah. Ranta goes down. He's bleeding in the mouth. So I thought for sure, at least they called it a 5-minute on the play.
Yeah.
Right? But it's reviewable. And I thought, I don't know what, because there was an injury on the play and he left the ice, they had to throw, I don't know who their third goalie is, but that was so funny.
Was that little Russian guy, Kushmashiov or something?
Kushmashiov. Of course. How did I forget? But I thought it was interesting of you guys talking, you and Fraser in the playoff breakdown about Antti Ranta being a little bit fragile and like how quickly that came into play. But then they review it, take away the 5, but he was bleeding. So shouldn't that be a 4 at least?
I don't know.
So like,
does the bleeding rule apply to anything other than high sticking?
I thought so. Because like an elbow, if you elbow someone in the mouth and they're bleeding, I'm fairly certain that's
what if you trip a guy, he falls and hits his face on the ice and is bleeding?
Because I think blood is injury, but I thought it was a rule of like a penalty called with an injury on the play. But that might be my thinking back to taking the reffing course when I was a kid, because in minor hockey,
get a fucking
for sure.
ref on the pod.
We should get Luke Lego's uncle. He's retired now. He used to do ref in the NHL, which is so fucking cool to know an NHL ref. That'd be cool to ask.
And he
was
like kind of a decorated NHL ref too, didn't he? There was a big deal when he retired. And
yeah,
what's his
everyone
first
came
name
out.
again? Something Lego.
Mike
Lego.
Mike.
I think it was Mike. Anyways,
Vladimir.
Anyways, cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Cool.
But I just thought that was interesting, and to lose your goal like that, because it was a bullshit play. Like fucking, it was greasy by Pasternak. Like,
and he didn't get the major.
Just got a 2-minute. Just got a 2-minute goal interference, and they lost their starter. Absolutely dummy mucked them anyway. It didn't matter. But like,
I think Carolina's a fucking.
They are a unit. I watched both. Those are the 2 games I've watched the most of. I watched the second Tampa Bay Toronto game. Pretty close, and I'll probably watch all the games tonight. I've tried to watch those Flames game, and it is the boringest shit.
I fell asleep on the couch.
It is the worst.
I fell asleep on the couch.
Oh my God, it sucked.
Like, And even the crowd wasn't standing during the pregame like video. They're like,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. That was a kind of a horrible game. And I think, man, it's fucking Sutter. Like, he tries to make this team play this way that, and I had Dustin Brown and Kopitar, and this is how we played.
Well, Dustin Brown and Goudreau are the same player.
You don't have Dustin Brown. You don't have Kopitar. You don't have Trevor Lewis. You have fucking Goudreau. Open them up, like, and I want the Flames to lose, but oh my god, like,
I know I have some questions too, and like that is with that match against Dallas, that's their identity, right? Like, and you just hope.
How good Jake Ottinger played. Fucking
I know who you've been games. Pretty low on, and
I thought Dallas had some shit goalies, but he
played really well.
Everyone seems to be really high on him too.
You know who else? You know who else played his fucking face off last night?
Ooh,
Ingram.
Oh yeah.
For fucking
did
Nashville.
Watch a little bit of
he was playing really well.
Your boy Makar with the OT winner.
And this is what when I saw that OT winner by Cale Makar, and Cale, don't even start, because as soon as I make this comparison, I'm gonna get laughed at by half the world. But like, what got me excited about that Cale Makar winner was what it reminds me of is that ability to just get that shot through and just pick the craziest lane through legs that you can tell he is sure this puck's gonna get on net.
Yeah.
It reminded me a ton of Bouchard.
Bouchard really has that skill for sure.
I think that is such a rare skill to have. And I feel like that's something that the Oilers have lacked so severely on defense for so many years, where we were always saying we need more like production from the back end, but the Oilers were so bad at getting their shots blocked and just not getting shots through.
And what I'll say, and one of the other guys who's the best at it in the league, I think, is Matthews. Not necessarily from the point, but watching Matthews, Bouchard, Makar, some of those guys who are really good at getting shots through, it's just right before the shot, it's that subtle little toe drag to move the puck
big time
8 inches over, or that half a stride to move, and then you just change the shot lane enough where you can get it through. And the guy who's blocking is that foot out and you can get it past them.
Yeah.
And it's just that subtle movement right before the shot is taken. Not a lot of guys can do that and then still fire it with that accuracy.
Okay,
Matthews is fucking good at it.
While we're on Matthews, watching that game too, like, I don't know. I think I just don't want, like, I know how good I'm a huge fan of Matthews. Like, he's one of my favorite players for sure. But like, I was in that kind of dummy mucking that they got from Tampa. I still thought Matthews was unbelievable. And like, there was so many times that if that wasn't Vasilevsky, he would have had like a hat trick that game, like that one off the knob. Like, and just how quickly, kind of what you're saying, he can drag the puck 8 inches and fire like an absolute rifle, where it just seems like he's not going to have that much time to get that quality of a shot away. But because of how, I mean, this is going to sound so, like, obviously he's a good shooter, but like, just, you know, it's not the actual shot itself. It's just how efficient he is with it. He just gets these absolute laser beams off with not a lot of space in these moments where you're just not expecting it. Because, like, how is he going to receive the puck, handle it, drag it, and shoot in that time? And like, almost, it seems like time stops sometimes when he gets a puck on his stick and he's got the shot away and then it goes again. Like, it was blowing my mind.
Yeah, he's
like,
pretty tidy.
He's pretty fucking good. And as much as I was saying, like, everyone talks about his defensive game, and like, I just don't watch enough of it to be able to see it. Yeah, no, I was really blown away with Matthews, which is interesting now, them going back tied 1-1. Another point of parity in the league, that every series but two is 1-1.
Yeah.
And I think I
kind of had that written down. I think all of the, like, you look at Florida, the Oilers, Minnesota, New York, there was a lot of high seeds, like those four in particular. They're the higher seed. They're probably the favorite in the series, maybe less so New York, but they lose really close ones in game one.
Yeah.
And then they come out and like kind of pepper stomp them. Like the Rangers beat Pittsburgh 5-2. The Florida-Washington game wasn't close.
Yeah.
Edmonton was 6-0. Yeah. Minnesota beat St. Louis 6-2. Like, it was kind of like those teams with a little bit of desperation. They're one game at home before they got to go on the road. I think they kind of said, hey, no, like, we're still the fucking best team in this series. I think it was cool to see, especially Florida Oilers more so. That was a pretty
those
big
are
exclamation.
Those are two very different games. And that was, I thought we, you know, not to fucking pat ourselves on the back though, but of kind of exactly what we said in our review of the first game was LA played about as good as they could, and Oilers played not awful, but just had some moments in time that, like, they could have had more, right? They just came out jittery, right? Like it wasn't a solid 60 minutes, we'll say. And there was still, even when they were playing good, it wasn't like the highs they were reaching in game 2 was like, honestly, I think the best Oilers hockey I've ever personally seen.
The last 2 periods for sure.
The last 2 periods, right?
Good.
And like you saw glimpses of it in the first. I just thought it was broken up by those penalty kills. Where they penalty killed good too. It just kind of the momentum that tide couldn't really the wave couldn't really crest like it. Once it crested, it was game over. It's goddamn tsunami. Yeah. But no, I thought it was huge. But then you see the Oilers were so far away from them, and then I don't think that was LA's best game either. I think they kind of got rolled over. They played good in the first, and then once that third goal went in, it was kind of lights out for them.
A couple questions here for you. How hard did Puljujarvi try to not score there?
It was pretty close. Speaking of time standing still, of just like McDavid making the best feed. Nobody, I think he could have.
If he hits the right side of the net there. Mm-hmm. That's like a goal. That's a goal 10 out of 10 times. He shot it, that's a goal 3 out of 10 times. Like he squeaked that, almost hit Quick right in the guts.
So he could have shot. He had the whole a foot of space on the right side of the net where there was no way he could have got there. A foot of space on the top of the net where nobody could have got there. Right. So he's got like 6 square feet of opening, and then he has that kind of 1 square foot where his glove's going to be.
Yeah.
That is kind of danger zone. Might go in, might not, and he put it just over that, and was like, oh. I think I texted you. I think I texted you like, oh my God, that was so close. But like, who cares? It went in. He needed that. Yeah. Because I was thinking as good as they were playing.
He was on that top line all game. But,
all game.
But I don't think that was necessarily because he played so good. Nope. I think it's just because all the other lines were rolling. You can't put Puljujarvi, leave him go. Kane and McDavid were carrying that line enough where it's not like Puljujarvi's shaky play was like costing his own time or anything like that. You weren't getting dominated.
But he definitely had a few where it was, thank God he got that one, because he definitely missed a few really good opportunities in that in that game. But he's going to keep being in that right spot. And if he can just, I don't know, I'm just hoping that's the monkey off his back and he can start putting some in the net, which we both know, everybody in the world knows he has that within. It honestly seems mental, right? Of like, he's
mental.
He is mental. Yeah, absolutely mental. I haven't watched a lot of Harry Potter. I got that stuck in the head. No, I was just so happy that he got that one right.
It was good for the kid.
Yeah, the fact that he got a goal and McLeod got a goal, very different scenarios. 1 to get a monkey off the back, 2 to get McLeod just rewarded for how he's been playing. Bouchard had 3 assists,
3 apples,
and he had I don't know. It felt like he scored. He rung the bar on that one right before he got the tipping one, right? Yeah. He did a real nice shot, hit it off the bar. He had that, like I said, like a very Nurse-esque jumping off the rush and catch that back door when they almost scored that. I thought he probably in the same way finally that was a full reward with what he's been playing. Like that was some unbelievable play. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The only one criticism I would have, and it's so small, like that's what I was thinking. It was so hard to pick apart anything to even say negatively. There was a couple moments that scared me a bit. Same thing we've been saying all year, a bit of that low to high, kind of losing that guy in the slot plays. And thank God Smitty was up to the task, and I think he saved 2 of them in the first period that were a bit risky, and then maybe 1 throughout the rest of the game. And if I'm going to nitpick one thing, I just think for us to be successful long-term, we've got to tidy that up a little bit. And it's such a tough thing where we kind of get puck watching when the puck gets low in our zone. Everyone kind of turns and we lose that one guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't notice a fuck of a lot of chances for LA.
No. And those, that was like the very
far between.
Yeah. And
I noticed Trevor Moore was not like, I hardly noticed him. Yeah. I think maybe that's simply just because who the fuck knows who Trevor Moore is.
Yeah.
So maybe after game 1, they went back and practiced, said, okay, that guy's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe we should watch him. Maybe we should defend him or something. But yeah, that line wasn't as prominent as they were in game 1. And so that was a big difference. What do you think they got to do on the road? Do you think it's more of the same? Like, cause I think that style they played in game 2 translates very well to the road.
That's what I was saying. They kind of came
simple
out with that.
Because it seemed to me like listening to Woodcroft and a couple of guys speak in between 1 and 2 they almost said, okay, we almost need to treat this as a road game because the crowd is so fucking crazy that we just need to simplify things. We need to simplify. I thought they overpowered LA. They were hitting way more than LA. So I think that translates well to the road. Do you think there's anything they need to do different on the road, or do you?
I think they found that identity. I think I've been saying this all goddamn year of the Oilers play best when they're hitting like that. Like I know that their team identity, and that's kind of what Woodcroft was saying in the post-game press conference of like, kind of, we have that in our bag, but like our identity is a little bit more high flying. Like we'd like to play that game, but if we're going to have to play that game again, so we can. But honestly, I don't really think that. I think that has been our identity, but I think we play best when we're hitting like that. And if we can keep that going and just trying to really lean into that, I think you just don't take your foot off the gas, muzzle off, take your foot off the glass, with that kind of play until you're forced to. In a similar way of kind of what we talked about in the playoff breakdown where Tampa, where they're so good at adjusting and playing a different type of game. I think until a team shows that they can shut that down, that is such a path to victory against so many teams in the league. And it is such a different look that everyone that game plans against the Oilers all year are not going to be planning to play that Oilers. And now they have to figure it out on the fly. And I think you keep the boot on the neck and you keep that kind of play until someone proves that they can play differently against you. And like you said, it pairs perfectly for a road game. Simple, keeps the pace of play, keeps you on the back foot, keeps the crowd out of the game, and just allows you to like, we always really lean on our high flying talent, but the physicality opens up that high flying talent as well, right? Like McDavid chucking guys off him. I really like, I can't remember who was talking about on the broadcast. It might have just been like, BX and the boys after, but they're talking about McDavid being physical. Yeah, it was nice, the hits, like that one he threw, I can't remember who he hit with Puljujarvi, kind of with the pick coming in behind him, just like dumped him over Puljujarvi. And then Buddy gives him the big slash on the ankle afterwards. But like, that's one thing. But just even where McDavid usually tries to, almost like trying to draw penalties more and like just angling his body and getting guys to like wrap around him. This game, he's playing much more pushing guys off, being more dry side less, like throwing his body around there and being stronger. He opened himself up a bunch more space. And I think that really is a new dynamic to his game where maybe he doesn't need to play like that all the time. Maybe that's just with the pace of play that he plays at, it might just not work to play that kind of crazy all the time. But if he can work that into his game where now he's going to be a physical mutant, creating his own space kind of, and that's what they're talking about, like every superstar in the league has kind of developed that and realized that at some point where, Crosby realized, I need to be a bit more physical. I need to fight for my space out here, right? Like I don't need to just beat guys to it and get into those areas of space. I can do that too. But if I can create my own space, that's huge. Yeah. And I'm going to have way more to play. So yeah, I think they don't really need to make any changes other than, keep the boot on the neck going into the road and understand that and try and learn lessons maybe from game one about mentality and how important it is going into that game 3 on the road, because it was the first
crypto.com arena.
Oh my God, that's brutal. That is so brutal.
Come on, Staples.
Do you think Bert Kreischer will be there shirtless? Prop bet.
Is he a big Kings guy or what?
He's a big height guy. He goes wherever.
And he's in LA?
He likes events. He likes to drink, and he's in LA. Like he's been a bunch of times at the Kings game, like with the Kings organization, because he's such a big social media guy. Like the Kings love having him there. And every time they put him right by the boards and he takes the tarp off and gets everyone fired up. Yeah. I love it because I love fucking Bert, but it probably all depends on
Bert Kreischer at that show in Edmonton not too long ago.
That was so funny. At that rave. That's Bert Kreischer.
That is Bert.
I should have taken a picture of it and sent it to him. That would have been funny. Do you think they need to? What changes do you think they need to make going in?
I don't think any. It is simple, boring answer, but I think you take that game they played in the second and third, you could take that shit to the moon and it'd work. Like that game works all over. So I think that was no. I don't think they need to change anything.
So then I just thought interesting. We kind of touched on it before, but I think we could probably talk about the impact of it with just like minutes. Like Kane had 19 minutes, which is a lot for a forward. Really logged some work.
David had 25 in game 1. He led the team.
And he had 17. Yeah. Just under 17
I think
minutes.
The blowout helps that. Woodcroft just rolls the lines. You're not that's
what I love to see of going into it with a long series, the way it looked in game 1 where, this might extend out, to be able to take that pressure off and go from 25 minutes down to under 17 for a player like McDavid. He should be really fresh going into game 3. Draisaitl played 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is awesome to rest those horses, right? Yeah. And for it to not to be a there's nothing but positives with it. Sometimes there's the double-edged sword of, you rest them, but like those guys want to play those minutes and they're a bit kind of take it back. But when the rest of the team's rolling like that, you're getting, like starting the second power play unit in the third there and watching Kane snipe that one. Yeah. That's huge.
That's big.
That's huge, right? And then to add on to that, does Nurse and Cece step up a level, having their like not having to be, because we've always known that Nurse has it in him to play 25 a night. He's a horse of a player, but is that best for how he plays? Or are we seeing if like Keith and Bouchard keep playing at this and they're eating up the minutes, does that allow you to use Nurse in a different way and allow him to play a different game?
I would hope so.
That's what I'm hoping, but I just don't know.
When you look at how much he played last year in those 4 games against Winnipeg, he was playing almost 30 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. But like, I honestly can't even remember like who was there. It was him and Larson were the top pairing, right? Yeah. And then who was their second pair? Barry and like who did they have? Cuckoo?
Maybe, I think it was. And
like,
Cuckoo had a top series.
Yeah, and Bouchard, I don't know if he even played against Winnipeg. I think
he did.
Yeah, it was just I don't think they had the support for Nurse that he has right now, and especially the way Keith and Bouchard are playing.
Yeah, you ride that, right? And there's, I guess the question comes in too with Keith at that age. Can he give you 22 minutes? But he played some crazy minutes back in the big time. I think he's a very different guy now.
He easily gives you 20 to 22 a night if you need him.
I think so for a series, but I'm getting my fucking Nick glasses on and looking all the way into if they make it third round of the playoffs conference final. Like how long can that hold up? I don't know. I think there's no way to answer that question. I think it's a question to be asked, but I think this is a very interesting new wrinkle to more Nurse's game. I think more of what excites me about that is, okay, how can that change how Nurse plays, right? And matchups and that type of thing. If you can keep him a bit more, it's just different. You're going to play different if you know you're going to have to play 25 minutes a night versus what did Nurse play? Did I even write 19? Yeah. That's super.
I think he played 20 in the first game, 19 in the second. So something like that.
And to see another question mark going into it be like, what is Bouchard going to look like with those minutes? And he fucking ate him up. Came to the post like a thoroughbred, chewed him up, right? Like
chomping at the bit,
digging in too deep. Yeah, all the lines. Another just little stat thing that I just really filled my heart at the end of the game was Dursey -3. Plus minus is never ending. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly why I thought that.
So if we're kind of wrapping up Oilers talk, I got that funny fan interaction. So there, in front of us at the game, there was kind of like a middle-aged couple, but they were into it all game, and obviously I belt out both anthems, like kind of trying hard, doing the voice waiver, like I'm singing the anthems.
You weren't singing them; you were saying them.
I was saying in the anthems. I belted out. I do the American and Canadian, I'll sing them both, and then kind of throughout like the second period, the lady in that couple, like. When you kind of, a person in front of you is kind of looking back, like, and you kind of can see they're almost like looking at you or trying to look at you.
Yeah.
And she was kind of doing that throughout the first 2 periods. And I'm like, fuck, I don't think I'm being that rowdy. Like, I'm not swearing.
It's playoffs. Who cares even if you are?
Buddy beside me wasn't quite as rank as he was the first game. So I'm just kind of like, what is this lady like? Turn around. But they were cheering too. Like they were right into it. So I was kind of confused. I'm like, what is this lady fucking turn around looking at me for? So it gets into the third period. Early third, like commercial break or something. And she turns around like fully and like make eye contact with me. And I kind of look and she goes, was that you singing the anthems? And I said, yeah, I was singing pretty. You have like a beautiful, very nice singing voice. Like, I'm very just impressed.
The tires.
And I'm like, oh shit, thanks. Like if Robbie Clark ever needs a sub, I'll jump in there. Hey, like I'll belt out the anthem.
Give me Malcolm Subban.
So that's what I think. The first couple of periods, she was like trying to put a face to the voice. Like she didn't know if it was me or like the guy beside me. Or she was trying to see like who the good singer was.
That's awesome.
So I guess I got some pipes on me.
Hey, you're sending it. I love it. If we need the backup. Maybe someone from the Oilers Entertainment Group's listening to this. They want to get,
like I can sing harmonies for Robbie Clark. Like I have a whole range. I can move up and down the octaves.
Interesting. What's old country pickle there that always used to come back and sing in the playoffs for?
Kissel.
Brett Kissel. Yeah, he's not made an appearance.
Because he's just
They're like bad luck, bad juju.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never a huge fan of his either. I think Robbie Clark gets to play.
It's so funny. Like everyone liked him and stuff. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but like one point, Ingle finds out that Brett Kissel didn't sign like one of our nephew's hats, and then he just fucking hated that. That's every time he come on, just he didn't sign a fucking hat. That's every time I see Brett Kissel now, I just think of that, right? And like these guys are probably signing a million different things. Probably, one of those easy little things to miss. Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite Oiler from that game? Like who are you most excited? Like was it the Bouchard play? Was it Keith coming out like that? Was it Kaner having another solid game? What was your?
I would say that pairing. That I would pair them together, Bouchard and
Keith Shard.
Keith Shard.
Yeah,
Shards of Keith. Bookie. There we go. Bookie. I think that pair's been really solid. I think if they can keep that play and we have a legit second pair, that only bodes well. I think
first pair, dude,
it's unreal. Honestly, they're 1A, 1B,
and like
1A, 1A.1.
What I love about too is like the not being all that worried defensively because they're both kind of solid, but in the offensive zone, you get two very different offensive dynamics from the left and the right. You have like the big shot and like the really sneaky shot from Bouchard. You have Keith, who's a good kind of feeder, right? He's really good at putting across D to D or feeding down low, but also if there's the moment for it or he sees a nice tip, he is good at taking that shot when he's very smart with his shots, and Bouchard just has a very good shot, which I think is a really good dynamic to have as a 1-2 punch if you're like defensively sound too, because it gives them kind of the both options and the way to play against that. It's not like who used to pair with Clefbaum?
Adam Larson.
And it would always be, the offense is probably not going to come from Larson. It's probably going to go over to Larson or to Clefbaum, and you kind of can figure that out, and you play accordingly.
And I think Keith, he's good offensively, but I think he's a perfect pairing for Bouchard right now because he's a veteran. I think deep down he understands Bouchard is probably going to take a few more risks. Yeah. So I'm not going to take risks because that Bouchard, one, is probably better at taking those risks. He can step up. Two, I got to support him. I'm playing with a young guy who likes to take a bit of chances on the offensive end. I'm going to modify my game a little bit to fit with Bouchard because I can see he's becoming a very effective piece. I need to fit Bouchard, and Keith he's intelligent enough that I think he can do that.
Right. And that's kind of where I go into shot selection too, where he's only, unless he's going to kind of defer unless he sees a really big opportunity, right? Like when he saw Yamamoto with his stick in the perfect spot, he's going to fire that. And I saw a couple times last night where he took the shot, right? Always first option for him is to defer, but if it's there, he'll take it. And I think that keeps you guessing. But he does support beautifully.
How long has it been since the Oilers have had like a legitimate second power play unit? Like what Bouchard, it's Bouchard, Nurse, or is it Keith? No, it's Nurse, I believe. Yeah.
I think
Bouchard, Nurse, Kane, McLeod, Yamo. And they've been buzzing it around the last month. They've been splitting a bit more time with the first unit.
I don't know.
It's been a fucking hot minute, man.
Who do we have in 06?
I remember, I don't know.
That's something
I remember, I'm sure they did have a bit of one there, but you think back as far as like the Taylor Hall, Nuge, Eberle, that would be your first unit. And then who's on the second? Like Cogliano? Like, I don't know. They've never had that depth to have it. Like you have Evander Kane on your
Didn't Cogliano just score a goal last night?
He plays for Colorado now. Maybe.
I think he did.
Did he score their one last night before OT?
Maybe. I think he might have.
Yeah, he was a pretty good. Colorado made a lot of good like deadline. They made Cogliano, Josh Manson, Arturi. They got
Cogliano at the deadline. Yeah, that's a big pickup.
And Josh Manson too is big.
Yeah, he's a big tough guy, right?
Big Manson? D man. Came from Anaheim.
Yeah.
Big, tough.
Right. Anaheim.
He's a prick.
Yeah, I know. I remember playing against him. He sucked.
His dad is like one of the assistant coaches for the Oilers, runs the penalty kill, runs the D.
Interesting. Wrinkle.
Manson's dad. Yeah.
Wrinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, so then looking around the league a little bit, kind of from what you kind of laid out in your playoff preview for your picks, and I can pull them back up if we need. I got them in my book here, but what has solidified? What are you more confident in of what you're saying? What are you kind of second guessing?
I'm more confident in my Carolina pick.
For sure. Yeah.
Holy fuck. Yeah, they're an absolute wagon. I don't give a fuck who's in net, man. If they ever got a healthy Freddie back, danger city, look out.
Yeah, they look really good. I think my confidence raised even like before game one when I was doing all those things for Ingle, those hockey pool picks. I put a bunch of Carolina ones. I don't know why. I was just feeling it. So like that was.
I think Carolina has got my confidence. Honestly, like obviously I picked Dallas as a fucking joke because I ain't picking, I ain't picking the Flames. That's probably my weakest pick. I think all my other picks have been. I think I took the Rangers.
That was more of a funny pick for sure.
I took the
Me
Rangers. I think they looked good enough in game 2 where it kind of solidified. Okay, game 1 was triple OT, great game.
Yeah,
but I think the Rangers have got a little bit more than the Penguins.
Shesterkin's looked really good. He's made some really, really nice saves, right? Like that's kind of what you need.
His rebound control is fucking unreal.
Yeah.
They talked about it on the broadcast. So I haven't seen a rebound all night. Colorado obviously looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I feel a lot.
If it wasn't for Ingram in net last night, that probably could have been another 7-2, 7-1 game.
Yeah.
They look solid. But Nashville is, I don't know, they've been a little lackluster too. I think Yossi was really good last night. I watched a bit of that game, but other than him, they don't have much.
What about the Minnesota Blues series? Because that one was.
I haven't seen either of those games.
I didn't see much of the first one. I didn't see almost any of the first one. The second one I watched a decent bit of, but it was kind of on during the Oilers, so I had.
Yeah, that's going to be the toughest one for me to watch because they're always a half hour before the Oilers.
Yeah. So I just had the Oilers on big TV and I had that like just on my laptop and I thought
Ville Husso got a shutout in the first game. I think he's probably the better of the two goalies. They might roll with him. Has Fleury played or has it been Talbot?
Fleury played both.
Both. Okay.
Both.
Okay.
Came out.
All right.
So Fleury came out in the first game and I don't think so David Perron got a hat trick in the first game. Each goal was from the exact same spot.
Former Oiler, man.
Yeah, I know. It's hearing David Perron and Cogliano getting goals in the playoffs sounds kind of a wow moment for me.
And Hemsky scored too.
And the KHL. How old would Hemsky be now? He's got to be up there.
Maybe almost 40, maybe late 30s.
Man, he could probably still play. Maybe we bring him in as a fucking special director. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And I thought Fleury played.
He's 38.
I thought Fleury played really well, and like 3 of those goals on Cogliano he makes a really nice save. Rebound comes out, nobody picks him up, and he puts it in. He scored 3 goals from the exact same spot off of rebounds, and it's like
Perron.
What I said, Cogliano. Sorry, Perron. Same guy.
Same. Former Oiler.
And then going into last night, I was kind of watching. I was just last night, night before. I was really impressed with how he's playing and like everyone kind of coming up around it. And I thought it was nice to see him get that redemption. And it's tough because I also like Talbot and I'd like to see him too. But just the way, I think what made me more happy about Vegas not making the playoffs this year was not the capping manipulation, $100 million team. It's what they fucking did to Fleury.
Yeah.
And just that's their MO is just to fuck guys over and just be like the most ruthless team.
Their MO is grass is always greener.
Yeah.
Fuck what we got. Yeah. I want that.
Thing. Which is
that
brutal.
Is a nice shiny thing. I want it.
Which is fine to do with some guys, I guess, if that's your MO. But the most
let's trade for a
bag of
washed up second overall with a broken neck. Like what the fuck, man?
But I'm just saying, like, to see how dirty they did Fleury, pissed off everybody in that job and the hockey gods, I'm sure. Right? You don't do that to a player like that. And now to see him have his
Fleury is a hockey god. He is one of them.
He is. He's one of the 3. He's the god of pranks.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's my favorite part of Spit and Chicklets is always the Fleury stories, the wild shit he does. Like just to have a guy like that on your team, it's almost an X factor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the same way that
glue
guy, huge. You probably didn't, because you were at the game, you probably didn't get to watch much of that Tampa Bay Toronto series. Because that's an interesting one.
No, I haven't. So that's a shitty thing. So the all the games that are on the same
Oilers
day as the Oilers,
yeah,
especially when you're going to the game,
that's where the fact that
I'll probably try and watch a bit more today. I'm going to be in the shop. I'll throw it on, and it's a rainy day. I'll probably be doing sweet fuck all anyway. So I'll try and watch a bit of hockey in there.
G-man, it's fucking playoffs. Come on.
Dude, let me go. Let me go home.
Let the big dogs eat.
Yeah. So I'll try and catch a little bit more of this day's games today. But no, I haven't seen much, which I ain't too sad about. If I can, I'll go to Oilers game anyway.
And I didn't get to see really much of the first game, but I watched most of the second game.
And just from what I've been hearing, Toronto keeps taking fucking penalties. Seems like they're in the box all the time. That seems to be the biggest mantra of all the experts in hard air quotes and all those guys that are talking about it. They took a few bad ones. But no, I think I'm fairly still confident in my Toronto pick. I think they have the juice.
Penalties, they both had 2 in the first period. Toronto had 2 to 1 of Tampa Bay's in the second. They took 3 in the third. So 3, 5, 7 penalties. That's too much, but you can't take 7
So 7-3. In the first game, they took a 5-minute major. That was Clifford.
Which they killed off.
And used
that was
as
a dumb
momentum.
one. I did not like that hit at all. Thought that was stupid.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've heard from watching Sportsnet and whatever is that Toronto's taking some bad penalties.
Yeah. It's interesting though to because of the conversation that you and Fraser had in that playoff breakdown, specifically about Tampa Bay and Toronto and the kind of the different sides we were on of I still stand by what I said, but I think I didn't take into account what you guys were saying. I think they are a much better team because even in that win they got I was pretty proud of my prediction, just how good Tampa Bay is at adjusting and coming out a little bit different the second game. That was my big thing, and Vasilevsky, and that's what won in that second game. Yeah. It was the slight change up to how they were played a little bit different, came out with a different style, and then Vasilevsky stood on his head. But even saying that, Toronto never went away. They got a couple late ones. Oh, yeah. They had it close.
But now they're going to go back to Tampa,
which is what I want to ask you, because the game 1, complete mucking, right? They showed everything that Fraser wanted to see out of it.
Yeah.
Going into game 2, it was not a blowout by any means. They were there. Vasilevsky really held them in it, but they stole that game. But now, what is the look going to go into Tampa Bay? Because you come off of 2 cup runs or cup wins in a row. That crowd, I'm interested to see what that. You think so? It's going to be pretty juicy in there.
I think so. Here's my wild and wacky idea. I literally just thought of it.
All right.
Okay. Because I think for this Tampa Bay, to play a team like Toronto, as long as you can get a split, it's a fucking huge advantage. Split 1-1 and then you go back home.
Yeah.
What if the home ice, the team of the higher seed got to pick every game?
You get 4 games, whatever 4 games you want.
Yeah.
You could pick, give them the 3 out the stern, then we're going to go 4 straight at home. We just want to steal 1 and then we're going to dummy muck.
Or just take 1 at home and then give them it'd be risky to give them 2 or 3 in a row because then you have pepper your home games games 5, 6, 7. Mm-hmm. Yeah, come back to our
2-3-2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
is basketball 2-3-2?
No.
There's a sport that's 2-3-2.
I don't think so.
I thought I could have swore. It. Baseball? Maybe. Baseball's best of 5 at certain points.
The first round is best of 5.
Yeah, stupid,
kind of gross.
Stupid.
Imagine
600 games a year,
162 games.
You can't fucking tack 2 more.
Yeah,
God, that is stupid.
Yeah. It's because they play so much in the regular season, they literally run out of good weather. Fuck, you're playing World Series is in October. If Minnesota had a World Series game, it'd be 4 feet of snow on the field.
Colorado, the Rockies.
Fuck, man, baseball's a joke. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm completely with you, but I don't know. It's because I'm so into hockey right now that I have SportsCenter on. I'm getting sucked into the Jays shit it's because they jam it down your throat. But I'm just, I'm that guy. I get
you
fired up.
Stuff jammed down your throat.
You know me, baby. The harder, the better.
Oh man.
Oh my god. And nobody jams harder than fucking goddamn Canadian sports outlets and the Jays.
Didn't they just get swept by the Yanks?
I thought they took a game. Maybe not.
Oh yeah, they ended. The Yanks won 11 in a row.
Yeah,
and then they won the last series.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't really care. That's the other thing. I'm just it's interesting just to keep a tab on it. It's not like I'm ever going to watch a fucking full game.
The Yanks have Josh Donaldson now. Eh?
What?
Yeah, he ended up on the Yankees somehow. Doesn't surprise me.
That was the Josh Donaldson era was the last time I watched baseball with any consistency.
Yeah. He's on the Yanks now.
When it was Batista and Donaldson, all those guys, I got pretty into it at that point. But since then, nah.
Yeah.
But
Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah, the elbow. Let's go. I really like that. You need... That's the thing about baseball. If you don't have other storylines like that or other things to juice it up, and you're just relying on the game, it's kind of boring.
Do you want to talk fights for 5-10 minutes, quick?
For sure, because you got to get to work.
Oh, I got 15-20 minutes here.
Okay. Well,
have you checked? We might have some breaking. News for you here regarding UFC.
You vamp. I'll pull up Twitter.
274. Oliveira, the newest news on him. He missed weight. Showed up late to the weigh-ins, missed weight by half a pound.
Yeah.
So we may have breaking news on the main event, which would be shitty If Oliveira has to drop out, the champ, or he wouldn't drop out, they would still fight. It just, like Nick was informing me, it wouldn't be a title fight anymore. So that would put a bit of a damper on that one. We'd at least still see the fight, but it'd be interesting to see if he can. He's got an hour.
Oliveira misses weight, stripped of lightweight title.
Stripped.
Wow. Officially comes in half an hour limit. After his second try, he's forced to vacate the title and can't win it back. Justin Gaethje remains eligible to become champion.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
I think
it's honestly such a shit show.
I think if
it's
the challenger that misses weight, he can't win the belt.
Yeah.
Because didn't that happen with Figueiredo?
But it's because they stripped him. I think what they can do is just say it's not for the title. It's a fight. It's not for the title. We're going to rebook or something. They can. But I think this is not Oliveira's first time missing weight. Okay. Back when he was a 45er, I think he came in at 55 at 45 one time.
Whoa.
In the past, but he's a kid. He's come a long way from that. But like, it was funny because a bunch of people were talking about how huge Oliveira looked coming into this. Like he's just a mutant now. Like he's almost a small 170, which is, that's what's bullshit is. The only reason that exists is because there's such a huge jump. Like a 15-pound jump from 55 to 70 is huge. There should be a 65 and 75-pound weight limit. It's so dumb.
Because aren't all the other weight classes separated by 10 pounds? And then there's that one
25, 35, 45, 55. That's when it makes the jump to 15 is 70. Then it's 15 for 185. Then it's 20 to 205. And then up to 265. And they have a weight limit on it, which I still think is fucking stupid to just let her buck. Yeah. Let the guys come in at 600 pounds. Yeah. I don't care.
Which is, that's fucking too bad. Because the one note I had that I wanted to ask you was about Khabib and Oliveira with like the record of who Oliveira's beat his last 4 or 5 fights. Obviously Khabib retired undefeated, but I was going to ask like what if Khabib beats Gaethje tomorrow, do you start saying that
Oliveira beats Gaethje tomorrow?
Yeah, sorry. If Oliveira beats Gaethje, do you think he's up there with Khabib as far as that weight class's greats go, or
I think,
it's just because he's not undefeated. He's got 12 losses.
Yeah, it's not even like it is the undefeated thing. That's what puts Khabib up. But like, yeah, it was the way that Khabib was winning, right? Like it was the dominance that puts him into that class. I think people really more like the casuals see the undefeated thing, and that's what it is. Like because his strength of schedule was nowhere near like an Oliveira has fought way like when you compare strength of schedule, Oliveira has fought names and names and names. He's been in the UFC for goddamn 10 years, right? Like Khabib, I think only had 6 to 8 fights in the UFC. Like most of that record was outside, right? But it was just whoever they put in front of him. And then some of the names are big, like Poirier, Gaethje, McGregor. I mean, that is what it is for name value and for like eyeballs on it. I think he would have been starting to get into that talk if he could have, and he still might. He might walk out, miss weight, and just stomp through Gaethje. They might rematch them for the title if that's what happens because now he'll.
So now he's stripped of it though. Does he? So he doesn't have the title.
So now he doesn't have the title and he can't win it tonight. So if
Gaethje wins,
it'll be a vacant title.
But if Gaethje wins, he's the interim champion. Or is he champ?
That's the thing. Just from that tweet I read, it said they didn't say interim champ, which I think that's why they stripped him. Because I think what they could have done was left him with the title, pulled him from that fight, bumped up Chandler or Ferguson, and made it for an interim title. Mm-hmm. But then I think that starts bunging up the whole card. It does. I think it really
Chandler
does.
Ferguson fight has been shaping up pretty good.
And that's why they stripped him. Plus, I think just the fact that it fucks the UFC over so hard for him to be in that. They built the whole, you're that guy. You can't fucking miss weight in that situation. They're pissed at him. Yeah. He's missed weight before, and he's had these issues. That's why he had to go
up to man. That's fucked.
And the look on his face when he stepped onto the scale the first time was such and this can all be game theatrics, he looked so surprised, and it's like, and sometimes it happens where guys scale in the room is not good, like it's off by a little bit, and that's not unheard of, and it looked genuine, but you never know. He might have just been putting on an act, and he knew he wasn't going to make it, but really shitty. So that's a bit of a bummer, but honestly, the fact that they stripped him and Gaethje can still win the title is the biggest thing, because that's what I was telling you before, like when we were talking about when I thought they wouldn't strip him and it would just be either for an interim or just for nothing. Yeah. I was just saying that's so tough for Gaethje because he's such a fan favorite, been through so much to get this opportunity. He's already won an interim title. He doesn't want another one. He wants the real deal. He doesn't, He lives by himself, doesn't have a family. Like he has given up everything to chase this dream and knows he only has, a very finite time left to do it. And he's doing everything. Like he lives right. He doesn't drink, doesn't party. He has nothing. Lives with his dog alone at home, smokes weed all the time, just trains. Does everything right. Yeah. I love Justin Gaethje. Yeah. He's such a fucking beast. And I was so disappointed. As soon as I saw Oliveira, that's all I was thinking. And like all the hardcores are just saying, poor Gaethje. The fact that they set it up like this, just stripped him and he still got it doesn't make it too big of a downer for me. Right?
Yeah, like, he can still walk out of there with the belt.
And it's still going to be a great fight. It's not like the fight's going to be any less exciting. Then
if not, it might add a bit more animosity.
A bit more intrigue.
Well, I guess not really. Gaethje won't be mad at him, but he'll also just have that little fuck you, make weight. Like, let's go.
Exactly. And then a little extra cash on
he gets
I wonder if Oliveira still gets pay-per-view points. Because he's stripped. He's not the champion.
Yeah.
But the contract for the fight was already signed before. But I wonder if you have something in there where if you
because obviously it's if you miss weight, you give half your purse to the other guy?
It depends on how much it's negotiated, and it depends. It's negotiated for sure. And there's kind of a thing by how bad the weight miss is. Like a half a pound, it's I'd say on average for like a half pound miss, it's probably 20% of the purse. Okay. If it's a couple pound miss, it's bad. Sometimes it's upwards of 30%. If it's a bad enough miss, they might pull the fight altogether. The commission can step in, right? Or the other fighter can say, I'm not fighting for less than 40% of his purse or something. Yeah. They can. Yeah. You don't see that very much anymore. That was kind of an older thing. But it's interesting. And then co-main, my fucking
Thug.
My girl, Thug Rose. Absolutely love her.
She's going to fucking pepper smack old Carla, isn't
You hope so, right? Like on paper, yes, she should. I wonder what the odds would be on that fight. I guess I can fucking pull it up. I had the
and then she'll probably get winner of Wang Zhili and Joanna.
And Joanna, right? Yeah, exactly. And that's so funny thinking back of like what a tough one that was for me to watch, because there's so many of these fights over the years where it's two of my favorites going up against each other, and it just your
favorite is Carla Esparza?
No. I'm going back in time, back to Joanna Rose 1. Where it was one of those ones, like I loved Rose, like the story coming up, but like Joanna was probably one of my favorite fighters at the time, but and over the week, the lead up.
Oh my God. Okay. I just went on to Bet365, back to hockey for 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Carolina is plus money tonight in Boston. Fucking fire money on that. They're going up 3-0 tonight. That is the Papa Prophecy guarantee.
They're going back to Swayman too.
Like Bruins are minus 145 on Bet365.
What do you think of them not going with what's their other goalie's name there? It was Swayman and Allmark. What do you think of them going with Allmark? Did Swayman start one?
They're both. I think it doesn't matter. I
don't think it matters
such
either.
A fucking so much better than them that it doesn't
You're
matter.
Right. I couldn't agree more. Sorry. Did you see the odds on?
Maybe they had the two goalies play rock paper scissors. The loser's got to go in there. Fuck.
That's funny. Did you see the odds on Rose Carla?
No, sorry. I got sidetracked by the Carolina being an underdog.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck are you doing?
That's kind of fucky.
Yeah, throw some money on there. Pepper it. If you have 365, pepper the Canes.
Pepper them. Just pepper them. So like on paper, Rose.
It's not that big. She's only minus 210.
Yeah, that's
plus 175.
That's what I think. The thing about
Chandler Ferguson's the biggest favorite of the night.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of it is that Carla Esparza is one of the rare girls in the 115-pound division that has a big wrestling background. Like there's tons. You look at this card. Justin Gaethje, came from wrestling. Tony Ferguson came from wrestling. Michael Chandler came from wrestling. Right, like so many guys came from wrestling. It's just a huge feeder, but you don't really see that in the women's division as much. There's a few, but most of them are 135 pounders. Whereas Carla Esparza is like in the top 10. She's the wrestler of the division. Right, she has skills. She's been around so long.
Is that the Mackenzie Dern division?
115? Yeah. She has fought at 125 too. I think 1 or 2 fights maybe, but she's 115. That's her weight class.
I guess Mackenzie Dern.
She's jiu-jitsu. Yeah, it's very different. Very different. So like, you never know how that, like the reason it's not a bigger favorite, I think on like skill to skill, like on the feet kind of
it's just
everywhere.
Stylistic matchup.
Yeah, there's always that chance because you never really know, because they fought so long ago, right? For the inaugural, at the end of that tough season for the first 115-pound title, and Carla Esparza won. It's been so long since then, and they've both gotten so much better in so many areas, but just like the way that matches up, you never know. There's always that slight chance that Carla could get her down and hold her down for 5 rounds. Just wrestle fuck her. You never know. I don't think so. I think Rose is way too good for that, and she's too much of a dog. I can't see that happening, but I think that's why the odds aren't more in her favor, right? Because there's always that X factor, right?
Yeah.
But Rose is my girl. I bet the house on her. I just the
finish.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for it. Like
throw a parlay, Thug Rose finish and Hurricanes to win. Let's go.
Because there'll probably be some decent money on a finish. I think because just like there's so little finishes in the 115 pound division. Just to jump ahead, there's this girl debuting. What the fuck's her name? I saw her on the scales today. She has the biggest shoulders on a 115 pound girl I've ever seen. It was like,
how tall is she?
I don't know. What was her name? Tracy Cortez. She's 9-1. I'm pretty sure this is her debut, man. She is like a mutant. She is a mutant. She is, how tall is she? 5'5". She's 5'5", and just like, if she's 115 pounds, she's got to have like 60 pounds in arms and shoulders.
Whoa.
It's absurd. Yeah. I'm so excited to see her scrap. And she's fighting, there's another girl debuting that's very good looking. I meant to text you. I was like, oh, I think Chase will like this girl. You always like the good looking girls when they're fighting. I found
a new cutie. She's in Bellator, a Canadian, Randy Field or Randy?
Oh yeah. I follow her.
I like her.
On Instagram. I think. Yeah,
she's fighting. I don't know if she just fought or she's fighting this weekend.
Ooh, exciting! I think it's on right now. I think it's the Paris card. I think it's happening at the moment.
Bellator's Fridays. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Then you got Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson.
Poor Tony.
Yeah.
Do you think he has any shot?
Always. You never count out El Kukui. I think he has, right? Like to say Tony Ferguson doesn't have a shot is crazy pants. But
Tony Ferguson,
it all depends. Yeah. I don't know. I think guys that have watched him fight, like when he went on that 12 fight win streak and did the things he did and is so unorthodox. It's so weird. He can come out and do like the weirdest shit ever. He might just come out Ryan Hall style and just roll at his legs and try and,
But Chandler also seems like one of those guys that he doesn't really fucking care what style, he doesn't even care what you look like. He's going to come at you guns ablazing. I don't know if Tony can handle him.
Right. But also I think that almost Michael Chandler is going to have a huge speed advantage. And he just should, I think he's going to go in there and do a crazy war thing and finish Tony Ferguson. Like you're saying, just come blitz through him. Yeah. But I think what he should do is use his speed, pick him apart from the outside, and just bloody him up for 3 rounds.
Volkanovski-esque?
That's what I think he should do.
He ain't gonna
full crowd, just the way he is, the entertainer he is. I don't see him doing it, but I think that that's his. I think if he does that, I think then Tony has no chance. Yeah. But you go into a war brawl, Tony Ferguson, like the spinning elbows he's chucked up, the triangles, like just Tony could get rocked by Chandler, go down and just chuck up a wild triangle and choke out Chandler, right? Like you never know with Tony. That's what I say. To say he doesn't have any chance is a little bit crazy, but you're right. There's a reason it's the biggest favorite on the card, Michael Chandler, right? And then Ovince St. Preux's fighting Mauricio Shogun Hua, who I honestly thought was retired 2 years ago. Hasn't fought in a couple of years, but like just a legend. You want to see him, right? And St. Preux almost missed away. I think he needed the box.
Off?
Yeah, get his undies off. And then you got probably my favorite fight of the card. Donald Cerrone, Joe Lozon. Like Donald Cerrone's been my OG.
Joe Lozon's a pretty OG, isn't he?
They're both super. Like it's almost like I think the craziest part is like, oh, these guys haven't fought before, and it was awesome. Like seeing the lead up to it and just
I saw Cerrone crying and all that.
Oh, Matt, dude, don't even bring it up. I was crying. I watched it on Instagram. I'm sitting in bed bawling my face off just because I've watched. He's been my favorite fighter since I was a little kid. I have tons of favorite fighters. I say that all the time, but like. Donald Cerrone and John Jones are my OG from a kid. Like those are my guys. And, look at what happened with John Jones and following his story. And it's kind of been up and down being a fan of his. Whereas Donald Cerrone the whole time, it's only gotten better. He's only added more wrinkles to who he is as a person and who he is as a fighter. And just that fighting anyone, anywhere, anytime doesn't the bobblehead right there sitting beside you. Like Cowboy is that guy. Now to see him grow into the dad he is and like him crying like that. And even just little shit like that is so Cowboy of him talking in the lead up. He's like, they sent us the contract, me and Joe Lozon were excited about it, but then they put it on a fight night. So I text Joe. I said, hey, we're both, I'm putting in a group chat. We're texting Dana and we're telling him this is going on at paper. He's like, just back me up. And they both go after it and like get it changed, get it onto onto a pay-per-view and shit. It's just so Cowboy and so, exactly who he is. Yeah. And just to see him one more time, maybe, I don't know if this is going to be one more time. You never know. I think Cowboy will fight until they physically don't let him. Yeah. But each time he fights, it's special because you don't know, is this going to be the last time he could leave his gloves in? I think depending on outcome, I'm fairly certain this will be Joe Lozon's last fight. So like you're getting probably at least one of these guys' last fight. Yeah. And then just kind of quickly throughout the rest of the card, that Andrew Fialho, who's been really, really high in the welterweight, he's kind of cruising up on that, been on a good little win streak. I think this Cameron Van Camp, I don't know if it's UFC debut or it's his he's been huge on the kind of the regional scenes. He's fought in like a bunch of titles and a bunch of little organizations, getting his call up. That should be a good fight. Randy Rude Boy Brown, he's always exciting.
Rude Boy.
He's a Jamaican versus Chaos Williams, who is always exciting. Macy Chase on versus Norma Dumont. Norma Dumont missed weight too, I think, at 145. So that's a big girl missing weight at 45, right? Macy Chase on, I don't know. Chason. I've been up and down on her. Then we finally...
You've been up and down on her.
Oh, I've been up and down on her. You know.
You know her like that.
Then finally, you'll like this fight. The fight that has had to happen forever. Brandon Royval, Matt Schnell. The only times I've been excited for this fight and it's fallen through and shit. That's going to be great. Blagoy Ivanov, just the most destroyer-looking Russian heavyweight bastard. You know, he's always... he's not even Russian. He looks Russian, but he's not. He's some sort of
Ukrainian,
Bulgarian or crazy shit like that. I don't think it's Ukraine. Something like that, though. Some sort of EIA versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima, which again, these are guys that are just kind of just outside the top 15 in the heavyweight division. I think with a win, either guy could see a number by their name. Kind of interesting. Francisco Trinaldo, I swear this guy is like 50 and just like has a fake birth certificate. And he's always exciting. Exactly. He's one of those guys. There's Danny Roberts. That should be a good fight. That Tracy Cortez with the biggest shoulders I've ever seen. Yeah. That'll be exciting. I just want to see her shoulders. I want to see her throw punch. She's 9-1 with 9 knockouts too.
Whoa. Which
you never see at the 115-pound weight division. That's exciting. And when I saw her shoulders, like, okay, that the math checks out. CJ Vergara, I think he was a Contender Series guy, if I remember right. And he was really exciting. Lupi Godinez, that Mexican Canadian, I think she fights out of Canada but is from Mexico. She's always really good. She's fighting again right on the undercard. And then
Mexican Canadian
Fernie Garcia versus Journey Newsom. I have no idea. Don't know either of those guys, but probably is going to be a little banger. What weight is that? Bantamweight, little scrap. Bantamweights are always fun.
Did you see the announcing of that July 2 card with O'Malley and Izzy, or is that kind of like
it was a leaked picture
of the
like it was a picture, and then they had like kind of like
Diaz,
in the war
Kamaev.
room, like their preliminary who they want on that, right?
Okay.
Like
so it may not turn out to be exactly that, but that's
I think for sure you get
O'Malley.
Izzy. I think O'Malley is confirmed. Yeah, so Izzy
O'Malley Munoz.
Yeah, O'Malley Munoz is confirmed.
Dunphy.
I think that is confirmed. Yeah. Lauren Dunphy versus who's she fighting again?
Oh, I knew the other girl too, and I just can't remember.
Lauren Murphy, yeah. It's another fighter.
Yeah, I knew her a lot too.
It's a good scrap, and then so I think for sure the only one,
and then Strickland Pereira.
Yeah, I think that's already confirmed.
Kamaev Diaz.
That's the one that is not confirmed.
Okay,
that is they've been trying to make that fight for I don't know. This is the bullshit of the UFC.
Yeah,
Nate Diaz has one fight left on his contract. They keep trying to offer him.
And he wants to go to Bellator.
He wants to go. He wants to make money. He wants to fight Jake Paul. He wants to do all those things. Everything that the UFC does not want him to do.
Yeah.
They do not want to let him go. And if they want to let him go, they want to make him fight it out on a loss against the hardest guy. It's going to make him look the worst and drop his stock as much as they can before they let him go, which is Khamzat Chimaev. That's why they've tried to be matching out because they know he's going to absolutely. Again, this is kind of a Tony Ferguson thing where you just never count out Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but. Stylistically, it's just not. It's not.
No,
good.
Not good.
It's not good.
Not good.
So I think Nate Diaz was just like, "Fuck you!" Like I don't want to do that, right? Or at least probably more his management was like, Nate Diaz probably. I don't give a fuck. I'll fight anybody. Let's line it up. But they didn't want to do it. But now they have to. Every time you turn down a fight, they add 6 months on your contract. That's why they keep sending him Khamzat. Won't fight Khamzat then. And then he turns down. Now he gets 6 months added on his contract, right? And so I think now it's at the point where he's just like, "Okay, I think I have to," and that's the hinger. If he just gets to that point where he says, "If this is what I got to do to get out of the UFC, that's what I got to do," and he fights Khamzat, that's what might bring it together. But I would say calling that like everyone jumping out with the headlines, Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz, that's a little preliminary. I still think it's far from done, but if it does happen, that's kind of the reason behind it,
That'd
which
be a
is
fucking
bullshit. And
wild
like
card.
you hate to see that happen to a guy like Nate Diaz, but that's the way it's set up, and that's a business, and that's how they run it, right? Until something big changes, that's kind of how it's going to be. And the more people understand that and kind of push on them to do it differently, but I don't know. I'm excited for that card either which way. Even if we don't get that, don't get that fight, that's a bangerang card. But if you do,
incredible.
That card's wild, right? What do you think of that Izzy Cannonier fight?
I don't know. I don't know. I saw them both fight live at the same card, and I don't know. I think Cannonier is good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Izzy's
just so far ahead of the division.
Better.
Yeah, that's exactly you nailed the breakdown right there. Yeah, like Cannonier is, of the guys that he hasn't fought, he's the toughest test. Like the only other guy out there for him to fight, and he just needs to put it together to string something together where they can kind of, because the UFC is just salivating to make this fight happen. No. Darren Till, baby.
Oh,
that is the
against
biggest,
Adesanya.
Mm-hmm. That is the
Till,
biggest fight
like
in middleweight
8 or
history.
something?
If you make it happen, just because of who they are.
Yeah.
Darren Till, but he's Darren Till behind.
He's got to win.
It goes Israel Adesanya. That's exactly it. And Izzy's always telling him, win fights. Like I want to do it because he knows that fight is going to put in numbers. Like the build up to that fight, how funny both of them are. Like Darren Till is the biggest
showman.
Yeah, like I think just star power.
Yeah,
that isn't like obviously star power McGregor, but he's already cashed in. Like the most uncashed in star power just due to shit like that and injuries is Darren Till. He's the biggest star the UFC has that hasn't fully broke over to this side. And I think over in Liverpool, he's fucking, as big as can be, but that's going to be huge when they can make it happen. He's just got to win those fights so they can justify throwing him in that title fight. That's all it's going to take. Yeah. But that lead up is going to be
might
nuts.
have to beat a guy like Vittori or something, or what do you think?
Yeah, probably.
He's got some.
He just got lined up
next, doesn't he?
He just they wanted him to. He wanted to fight Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall kept calling him out, and I thought that's kind of the way they're going to go. But then they just announced he's going to fight. Who did they announce Darren Till is fighting?
I saw it too, and I can't remember.
Darren Till.
I probably should jump off here quick.
Okay. All right. Well, that was the Game 2 breakdown of the Oilers. Big game tonight. We will get this released here right away. Chase got to get off to work. And then a little bit of a UFC 274 breakdown at the end. Really exciting. Anything else that he's going to fight Jack Hermanson. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a good fight.
Yeah.
Not as close to the title contention as it is, but I think with like I said, with the star power he has, it don't matter. He can vault right up there. So that's exciting. We'll talk to you guys probably tomorrow
or Sunday.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a little before the fights breakdown of the game, or maybe Sunday. We'll see. Yeah, we'll get it to you before the next game. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys.
Bye.
Oh, I beat you to it. Bye.
Bye. Bye.